Alright guys, it's Hank here. I'm doing a live commentary. Find a place to rest. Plan is to continue to head up this area right here. I gotta check on my settlements. There's sim settlements, so they should be working pretty well on their own. I'd like to hit the good neighbor and drop some of my equipment. To get a little look at what we're carrying right now. This is a level 60 loadout. On binoculars, sort by range, sort by accuracy rather. I need plasma rounds for this. Binoculars always critical. This is for taking down Mirelurks and super mutants from distance. This is for dealing headshots to 1,000 and 6,000 foundation units. That's what 308's good for. It'll strike through helmets at most situations, but not necessarily super mutant shots. Now, the way that I have it set up, the super mutants will regenerate. This right here, the M16A3 automatic rifle Hitman, that's going to do extra damage when I'm aiming. The for that is 70. The 5.56 is good against humanoid targets, ghouls, and such. The suppressor makes it very effective for both indoor and outdoor fighting. The marksman infantry rifle I have set up for 308, so I get a little bit of a better fire rate than if I was using the bolt action rifle. Obviously the range is not well, the range is as good, but the accuracy is not as good. So I'm still kind of testing out the marksman infantry rifle over long ranges. I have a new configuration on that. This RPK Model 30 7.62 light machine gun is my main defense against heavily armored targets, ballistic, things that are weak to ballistics, such as protectrons, robots, other things like that, because it has a tendency to pierce through the armor. And you can deal a lot of damage. It's got a big magazine. It'll change quickly. Now, this is something I'm carrying probably to sell or to give another flare gun. Of course, call them my Minutemen guys. The Chinese Special Forces Suppress 5.56 auto is very good because it ignores 30% of the target's damage and energy resistance. This is what I'll use when I'm breaching the interior of a building and I need to maintain stealth. This right here, I haven't quite upgraded. I found it recently at University Point. I want to get it all the way up to snuff before I start using it. The handmade rifle of nocturnal high capacity, I do want to make some modifications to that. Ultimately, I think I'll strip what's off this RPK and put it into this handmade rifle of the nocturnal, just so I have a better version of this light machine gun. Kellogg's 44 Magnum revolver, I often carry that when I'm in intermediate and close ranges, breaching buildings and so forth, dealing with ghouls, things that can get staggered when I need to blow out limbs while I'm taking out headshots. A P220 semi-auto 45 caliber pistol, right now having a silenced configuration. I use this to deal with human targets when I'm trying to infiltrate or if I'm trying to quietly deal with small creatures, rad roaches, mole rats, dogs, and Mirelurk eggs. Laser pistol automatic, I'm simply carrying this right now to strip it down so I can add a little bit to limitless potential. Manhunter is my primary weapon when I'm dealing with gunners or any other type of well-armed, well-moving. Typically I'll use it on interiors, but it is effective against a lot of different types of opponents. Ghouls, because of the tight spread, the decent fire rate. The larger tube holds 8 rounds. It does a ridiculous amount of damage, as you can see. So it's a very, very effective one-shot weapon in those close ranges. The remote detonator I carry for some explosives, I'll show you here in just a second. The 2076 World Series baseball bat, I haven't used that very much, but if I need to get into melee, which does happen on occasion. I used to carry a machete, but now I've elected to carry this. The Pikmin's Blade, obviously if I'm doing sneak and stealth kills. The variety of explosives that I'm carrying at the moment. Fragmentation grenades, and the MRV status, which I don't particularly care for that much because they don't have as much range, but they do quite a bit of damage. Gamma grenades when I'm trying to weaken anything but super mutants and not dealing with sense. So the practicality actually of using the gamma grenade is somewhat limited, but if you have enough radiation resistant clothing or blood packs and things like that, it can actually prevent you from taking damage. Smart fragmentation grenade replica, I haven't used that yet. Now these are the detonated mines. The C4 plastic explosive I'll use to set traps, especially when I'm dealing with big Mirelurks, Mirelurk queens, boss type enemies that I have to lure into an area and detonate. Or if I see death claws, I can set a number of traps that they'll move into. Pulse charges, this has been a very, very useful thing to use against synths. Have a move into an area, or even robots to a certain extent, and then just detonate the pulse charge and knock them all down. The remote nuke I save for things like Mirelurk queens or boss type enemies that are in tunnels or semi-restricted spaces. Molotov cocktails are always useful because I can use them as a fire shield because of the upgraded damage that I have. The new way that improved explosives leaves fire open over a broader area, I can actually create walls of fire. So if I know a building is full of ferals, what I'll do is I'll chuck the Molotov cocktails through the windows and set the interior on fire. Or if I'm concerned about number of charging enemies, I'll throw the Molotovs out in front of me as I retreat, and as they go through them, they'll take that catch on fire and take that sustained damage. These nuclear grenades obviously are going to be for heavily armored targets such as power armor wearing foes, so they'll actually light on fire and continue to take sustained damage. Plasma grenades to melt the armor off of bigger targets, dealing with incredibly powerful super mutants. If I don't have enough pulse grenades, I'll use plasma against robotic or synthetic targets. Pulse grenades, again, for robotic and synthetic targets. Baseball grenades, the only reason I carry these is because of their specific flatline trajectory, the reason that you can throw them far, and that they're impact and not time grenades. I can sometimes use these to disable turrets. Cryogenic grenades I use against death claws. I use them against robots on some occasions. I use them against super mutants on some occasions. Anything I need to slow the progress of an enemy. Rarely do I ever use them on humanoid targets. Fragmentation grenades, I usually carry a lot of these because I use these to probe out where my enemies are or are going to be, or to lure them into an area, or just to kind of check to see if there's anything in a room ahead of me. They're very easy to produce. I only need a couple of components and I can easily grab those in the field. Fragmentation grenades, so it's kind of a probing type of weapon, or even to get trajectories lined up. Hallucinogen gas grenades, obviously I'll use these in against humanoid targets, or if I have a situation where SKK stalkers brings up a group behind me and I need to get them to fight, or I know that there's a series of gunners or something in another room, I can actually throw it into the room, close the door, take a reinforcing position, maybe mine the door, and hopefully they'll fight each other. They're not incredibly reliable, but fun enough to take the chance on every once in a while. Bottle cap mines are kind of staple weapons. They do a tremendous amount of damage, surely to cripple the legs of a lot of different types of enemies or kill them outright. Cryo mines, again, to freeze stuff like super mutants. Nuke mines try and eliminate those bigger armored enemies, power armor type of enemies. Plasma mines, same as the plasma grenades. Pulse mines, I wish I had a few more of these right now because this is my primary weapon when I'm dealing with synths or robots, because I don't like to engage them directly. I like to soften them up before they get close to me, because typically they're accurate and they use very powerful rapid-fire weapons. Fragmentation mines, these again are kind of probing weapons or something that I can use to damage the legs of incoming enemies or to kill lightly armored raiders or humanoids or dogs, things like that, just outright. The glow sticks I carry along for to kind of lead a breadcrumb trail in some respects, and also to kind of illuminate a certain area if I want to approach in total darkness without using my night vision for whatever reason. Just kind of markers sometimes in many respects. Sometimes to mark an enemy, sometimes to lure an enemy out. Homing beacons, of course, those are for the nuclear strikes I can call in from the Yangtze, and I don't use my synth relay grenades. Now, Reginald's suit, obviously the charisma's there. My scavenge NCR long coat is my primary armor. One, it looks cool. Number two, it's shadowed. It's got the hybridized weave, MK4. It's stabilized, it's dense, and it's muffled. So it's going to help me move quietly, and it's also going to help me avoid taking too much damage from explosives, because one poorly thrown grenade, and it does happen every once in a while, you'll get a bounce back. It'll just prevent you from getting instant death. My patrol band, sunglasses, and regulator hat I will usually put on before I enter a environment where I'm trying to do some trading, or if I really need to get my luck up, like if I'm looting a chest or something. Hazmat suit, that speaks for itself. Use those in high radiation areas, although I do believe I've added a forged hybrid weave. So it's kind of make me immune to fire with the asbestos lining and the forged hybrid weave. So it's going to make me very resistant to fire. So if I'm dealing with flamethrowers and things of that nature. It's also got the recon sensors in it, the ultralight builds, so I can sprint a little bit faster, and the stabilize to ensure that I can use my scoped weapons very effectively. Now, again, we've got my night vision black goggles. Of course, that's a staple. Thermal. Now my revolver harness, just kind of a little bit of an accessory, just a kind of a personal type of accessory. I carry the halogen bulb because it's bright. I do like it because it gives the charisma, although I do have one that will also increase my agility. Jetpack obviously is just for quick travel. It's Wasteland into the mail rocket config. The scavenged NCR gas mask under helmet recon. So this is basically just to give me that extra radiation resistance and a little bit more. My backpack, obviously, to carry more equipment. Wedding ring for the charisma, and of course, still respect Nora, part of the character overall. Got a messenger bag here with a base satchel carry weight, which is based on your strength. Got my web mert gear, X100. My Black Ops chest piece is my primary armor that I wear. I like it because it's ultra light, so I can move quickly. It's shadowed, so I can stay in the dark. My entire character is survival is predicated on moving quickly, moving in shadow, assessing the right situations and running from the wrong ones, ensuring that I can outflank my enemies, hide in the shadows when necessary, and booby trap everything else around me. Black Ops Shin Guard, increasing the movement speed by 10%. If I'm traveling over land, I want to make a lot of distance, I will put 2 of these on. This right here I'm carrying probably to give to an NPC. This armor here. Right now I'll be wearing the leather tough armor of the Exterminator. The light combat armor of the Lucky, which is shadowed and muffled, because I do like to have my luck up, because I do like to have my critical meter filled. And I've got another set of Lucky armor here, which protects one of my arms very, very effectively, and I've always considered that to be very important. I don't want my arms to get crippled or my aim to be thrown off if I'm in combat. So I do like that ultralight build. The shadowed metal, obviously, because I'm always trying to hide in shadow. Scavenge NCR helmet, which is actually very, very effective. I would like to do a little bit more, upgrade the protection weave, but I'll do that in time. But again, I get my endurance up a little bit more. The ultralight build, I'm only at about a half a pound for the helmet for all those additional protections. And the biohazard protection weave is actually going to prevent me from taking some poison damage that I would take from, you know, Mirelurk spitting poison or acid at me. Some of those scorpion type of creatures, some of those barnacle things that release those toxins on you. This is the Vanguard headgear that I was talking about. If I just need that little extra bit of agility if I'm on a totally stealth type mission. And then I have the leadership armors for trade, because they're lightweight enough. They'll boost my charisma and my intelligence. As far as aid goes, we've got robot repair kits and stealth boys. We've got a number of chems here, which you should probably all be familiar with. Sealed painkillers being one of my favorite. In the healing section, we've got a good majority of everything I need. I need some energy pills, not energy pills. I need something to get rid of one particular affliction that I have right now. I've got parasites and insomnia. I need a gutworm colony, and I need some kind of healing, some kind of pet pill. I forget exactly what it is to help me get rid of this insomnia. Got some surgery kits in case I take some major wounds. I've got a couple of first aid kits to fix broken bones. Painkiller. Glowing blood packs, which is always a staple for me. I love that rad resistance at 75 for 15. Add that with a little food, and that makes me very, very resilient to a lot of radiation. Drinks, I carry most of the stuff I actually need to put into a box and send it away with a homing beacon, because the beer, the moonshine, the bourbon, I'll use these to create different recipes of food, like the vodka, the whiskey. That's all critical for special types of roast, the bourbon. I like to get my hands on some rum. Refreshing beverage, I'll down those every once in a while to bring my rads under control. I would like to purify some of this dirty water, which I will do as soon as I can find a campsite. These other brews and lagers, I could drop them, but for right now, I'm gonna hang on to them. The Nuka-Colas obviously are fast regenerating hit points. The AP really gives you a quick boost in the field if you're dying, and also I find myself very tired having to stay in the field for extended periods of time without a good place to rest. So I do love the caffeine. Food, got a variety of different things. Cram, basically to keep me from being too hungry. All these things right here will get me to the point where I'm not hungry anymore. And everything above here is actually going to give me the stat boosts that I like to have as I move into whatever situation that I'm moving into. Mirelurk egg omelets are some of my favorite. All it requires is the egg. What you really want to pay attention to when you're in survival immersion type of games is the weight. That's only 1/10 of a pound, so I can carry 10 of them for a pound. And for that type of hit point regeneration and AP and value, very much worth it. So, another one of my favorites is Mirelurk stew, and I also like the dog stew. I do like that agility increase because it helps me in VATS. It gives me a little bit more VATS action. It gives me more max AP, and it helps me sneak and pick locks and all the other good kind of stuff later. And it also lasts for a very good long time. I do love the energy resistance, but Rad Scorpion meat is hard to come across. But that energy resistance, when you're dealing with things like synths that are using energy weapons against you, that energy resistance of 25 is very, very, very helpful. Sweet Mirelurk Roast, this just adds a little bit more to my rad resistance. I love Tasty Stag Roast. I'll eat it when I have it. If I'm going to an area I know I'm going to gain some experience, because I always like to boost my intelligence. I also like to boost my endurance. Cow Guy Stew. This is a big time fast healer. And then I have ingredients I need to drop or trade off. Actually, or cook into better stuff, frankly. None of this stuff needs to be reviewed in here. I've got a little junk that I'm carrying with me. I like to keep it broken down. Let's just dump some of the crap right now and get rid of that. All the bottles I need to fill up. Water. These are my high-ticket items for sale. The rest of it looks like it's pretty good because I can use it in the field. Switch stuff out. Now my P220 compensator is what I would switch out right now. I have it in suppressor on it, but if I'm moving overland, I want to rely on a handgun instead of a rifle, which sometimes I do because I like to move a little bit quicker, and I also like to have a more overall sight picture where I don't have a gun really in my way, so I can get a better assessment of what's going on around me. Sometimes I'll carry stocks and scopes just to change the zoom functions on my different scoped rifles and things like that. And my ammunition here all has different weights, so I have to pay very close attention to what I'm carrying, but fortunately I have dog meat with me. I'm getting a little high up in the weight at 636 to 860. That's not really my primary concern. My primary concern is when you're traveling with a companion, especially two, and you have massive inventories. It actually is very difficult for the game sometimes on the loads and transitions. So I like to pare down my equipment as much as possible, as soon as possible. I believe I have some salvage beacons, so what I'll do is I'll drop the salvage beacon in a crate, and one of my local settlers that's at a salvage beacon desk, I forget precisely what it's called, they'll come out and pick up the equipment that I put in the chest, which is very, very helpful. I'm carrying the junk that I'm carrying right now in case I want to make field modifications, or if I run into somebody that's got high value items or something that I really, really need to buy. Okay, so we're going to be just heading again up the shore. Stopping Good Neighbor. Alright, and I need rest, and I'd also love to get rid of my parasites and insomnia. To have a little caffeine right now because I'm tired. Standard Nuka-Cola. Check the time. It's 1:08 a.m. I'm trying to use as little HUD as possible, so we are playing with Agony and Battle Locational Damage, so it is extremely lethal. Quick. Turn around here. These basically just be heading up this road area here. Thermal will give me a quick check to maybe highlight any enemies. Just dealt with a lot of them down here, so I'm ready to go. Switch to night. And the silenced hitman right now. Now with SKK stalkers and other random spawns, I have to be exceptionally careful about what's gonna basically be popping out at. It's the ambience. I can hear. So we can take a quick look at what dog meat's carrying.
Hey.
I'd like to just drop some stuff. Very extra food and weapons I like to change out. My Chinese 308 semi-automatic sniper rifle. I'll use this on occasion. Right now, I'm doing a little bit more practice with this 308 configure. Of course, Batman starter. If you're in game, drop me a comment so I can see, like, perhaps if I'm missing something in an area. This is where I had dropped a, let's see, maybe we should do that. Switch to the Magnum because it's a little easier. Cursory glance and stuff. This boat here, maybe a first aid kit. Not exactly sure who these two guys over here. Generally, they'll recon, they'll light up, so I think they're friendly, but if you caught the last live stream or the one just previous to that, I made a mistake about who was friendly. Got here.
Hey.
I may not look like much, but I can defend myself.
Excuse me.
You haven't shot me yet. Thanks.
Welcome.
So, cold weather.
And I'm just gonna kind of pick up some extra weapons for my settlers. Are heading in that direction. This would be the time to check the shore and thermal. Quick. Safe. I would like to find a place to rest. I believe I can get to good. Major problem. Gotta fill up these water bottles while I'm here. So if I run into a cooking stove or something like that, I can quickly convert it into purified. Because I'm running a little low on purified. A lot of it. I'm not really comfortable with less than 30 between what dog meat and I hold. Satisfies me for now. I have to progress a little bit more slowly than usual. It's also wise with Mirelurks typically on this side to go ahead and switch to... One of them pops up very close right now. Blood leaf, always valuable. If I recall correctly, I killed a bunch of guys over here. Probably already spawned out. That was a long... Some kind of robot convention up here. I'll take low weight items like pencil. Now these TV dinner trays are actually really good for 3 pieces of aluminum. But I'm not on a scabbing mission. I'm actually just trying to move pretty quick. Check this area here. I always like to give an area a quick sweep for traps. Because in this particular setup, one mistake, if that door over there or something is trapped, which it does not appear to be, I would be in deep trouble. Everything appears to be cool. Let's see what I can snatch up.
Yes.
When I run into areas like this where not a lot seems to be going on, I'm always a little bit wary of ambush or something. Cooking stove is exactly what I needed. Purify my water. Work together some ingredients. Take the sweet roll just in case I need to get myself back up past the point where I'm hungry. Tap some money always. Let's just go ahead and these bad boys and they're purified. Also would really like to have a roast that is the gutworm colony. So I can get rid of my parasites. I won't waste my razor grain on the noodle cup. See, I'd love to have the Tasty Stag and the Tipsy Brahmin. Having a little extra rad resistance, I'll go ahead and use the Nuka-Cola for that. Mutant Hound Chops, love them because of the 50-point radiation reduction. Mole Rat Chunks I saved for the soup. Cook a few more Mirelurk egg omelets. Dirty water. That's just a staple because you can carry 10 for a pound. Don't really need any more at the moment. I much prefer to have the soups. Very interested in Mirelurk soup. It's one of my favorites. Whole rat stew. Although squirrel stew is much better in the beginning of the game than it is later. Ragstad stew. Soups, not so much. Dog meat stew, absolutely wonderful. Bug stew's awesome, but it's hard to get all the components for it. It's pretty rare. It's for it. Yeah, I'll go ahead and turn my sugar bombs into rum. Throw away my corn. Whiskey. Rum is very good to have, and generally kind of hard to come by. Pull up a few more bottles and finish this off. My character survives on speed and stealth. Power armor is not something that I really use because I prefer mobility. Also, safest bet. Well, to hell with the safest bet. We're just gonna explore it out here. If I remember correctly, good neighbor shit this way. Gotta be careful because I know I'm gonna have spawns coming in this area, so I'll always have to be vigilant. I had previously cleared this area. It doesn't take long for them to come back into an area. Take that thing to get rid of those parasites. Food that has the radiation like crayon to get me back up to the point where I'm no longer hungry. And then I'm going to check and see maybe what other stat boosts I could use. And I look pretty good on stat boosts, so I'm just going to add one other thing. Probably a little radiation resistance. Just did sweet Mirelurk roast, that'll be perfect. Water. Now the rifle that I'm carrying right now is suppressed. I actually think I'm going to switch to the 308 instead of the 5.56 in the carbine type of fashion. It is not suppressed, and when I'm outdoors I don't really care if it's suppressed or not. I'm going to take some painkillers while I'm out here because I'm getting kind of nervous. I don't hear any enemies around, which is a good sign.
Nice.
Probably should switch to the P220. Just have that set because that is suppressed. I'm actually going to be carrying that instead of the Magnum right. A little lost, but I still believe that good. Very, very close. Kind of turned around, it should be. There it is, I see that bridge. Anytime I see that bridge, I know I'm close. Now my VATS acts really quick, so I have to be on it. Still get dealt full damage in VATS. Have a slight reduction. Speed. It's almost moving at full speed. I do love the acrobatic armor. I just wish it was a better. Knuckles of the Mutant Slayer. Yeah, that's what I really want to do. Try. Super mutant to death and agony. I don't think so. Is anything here? Trying to listen right now for raiders or any. Take this for the nuclear material just in case I need it for a weapon up. Skip this. Town. It's always another way to deal with it, I guess. I haven't had a jump pack for very long, so never had any experience with it before. I figured I'd give it a try. We're here to dump off extra equipment, maybe drop a salvage beacon and have something taken to a local settlement. Grab a couple of drinks, maybe hook up with McCready and try and carry another companion. At least switch into something that's going to increase all my charisma. First things first is Reginald's suit, old man sunglasses, regulator hat, leadership, have plenty of beer here to drink. Let's go over here and talk to L Kills, the robot psychopath.
Cleo.
Mm-hmm. Concur. I agree.
Not to be functioning.
Hey.
I'll see what I can do.
Hey.
How we doing on the hunt for Eddie's tapes?
So far, so good.
Still searching for them.
Just let me know when you manage to get your hands on them.
Hey.
What's the plan?
Done with what he has.
Heads up.
Go ahead.
You.
Anything I can help with?
Drop him as a companion.
I think it's about time we called it quits.
Your call. You change your mind, though, you come find me. I'll be at home.
Smartest place to do it would be Hangman's Alley. All of his stuff is finding those tapes is downtown.
Hey, Cleo.
I hope you're buying. Even a girl with an arsenal full of weapons needs to make a living, after all.
I've got a few minutes to browse.
A gun for every occasion.
Now, if she has something that I really, really want, I'll take some of those berry mentats. Some right greave. Black Ops. Actually kind of short on right greaves. By the Devastator's right greave. Just a thought. That combat rifles. Now, the crude blowback is actually a very, very good weapon early in the game, and it's maintains a fairly effective style throughout the game. It's actually, and even in early levels, like early gun rank 2, it's like one of the first weapons you can outfit with a suppressor. I don't think we're going to find anything particularly special. Already got most of my service rifles rocked out. It's not legendary. I don't really need it. I'll probably build my grenades when I get back to a settlement. Just going to end up selling stuff that we don't need. Let's go ahead and drop the 38. Start with the heavier stuff. Western revolver. I'll give this to one of my settlers. This I'll strip down to sit with this. Drop these. I'd probably drop a couple of Molotovs. It's one. It's close enough. I think I'm good on ammunition for most part. 4570 would be nice to have a few rounds, maybe about 26 will make me happy. Set that with 38. Might not be bad to have a little more plasma. Drop a goodly amount of shotgun shells. You never really need more than 50. 71. And 10mm. So much 45. That's for my pistol. Drop a 72. All my 7.62, all my... I don't really need all the 5mm, but I like to have all my 5.56, and I could probably pick up a little. So as these prices are getting up here, let's take those berry mentats. Grape.
Cleo.
Every weapon you see here could be the difference between life and death, baby.
Let's see what you have.
Each weapon tested on someone who deserved it.
Let's just go ahead and grab effective 8. Drop the 10. Plasma cartridges. Let's go ahead and bump this up to about a drop this by about 100. Actually drop it by 150. $5mm. Well, I don't know. It's kind of nice to have it when you run into those situations where you have a minigun and you have to deal with. Still got plenty of 308. But I can always use a little bit more. $60 rounds. To an even 400. 5.56 will buy everything. 7.62. Buy. Let's go with 55 more rounds. You'd be amazed at how fast you can burn through that with those LMGs. By another 400. I don't really use 50 for very much. So I think it's gonna be fine. Probably could dump some of these explosives. Let's go with a few more of these. We'll take it down. Do these. I can drop everything down to about 50 of these, so I can do 67. Sell the high ticket items. I'll keep the subway token though and my pre-war. Sell all the gold items. The synth components. Alright, so thanks with that.
Heads up.
And if he's got anything I can dump off. Oh. Not really, all this stuff is pretty critical. I'm going to take those fusion cells. Actually, I might buy some more fusion cells for that unlimited
Hey, Cleo.
laser pistol rifle thing that I haven't fixed yet.
Sing it, brother. Yep. Sing. Mm-hmm.
What I'd like to do is rip everything off of my RPK. But it might be better to do that at a settlement. Nothing really great strip off here. I'd like to get this limitless potential up to a improved long barrel, which apparently all I need is a little fiberglass for it. Be a recoil compensating stock. And I could rip the sights off of something else. It's up to a overcharge capacity. Capacitor, rather. We'll examine some of those things a bit later. I'm not getting any fiberglass by scrapping that, so I'll just have to keep my eyes open for a Braxo. I think that's got fiberglass in
Don't
it.
keep me waiting, baby.
Let's see what you got.
Murder and mayhem at a discount.
I've elected to buy a few more fusion cells. Save my money. See what else we got going on here. I know
Daisy.
resupply videos are a little boring, but that was part of
Thanks
the plan.
again.
We had to get to this
Now
point.
you're here to trade.
I've got a few minutes to browse.
It's a little bit of everything.
Destroyer's chest piece, don't want that. Here that I think we really need. So there was a laser rifle that I could strip off on it for, which there is not. expired painkillers, I like to grab these. Because with a little chalk, I can actually seal them. All the... It's gonna take them all. On a bits. So I don't need the fiber optics. What I needed was fiberglass. So military duct tape, I'll definitely. Telephone. So I'll take these little light adhesives. Should pretty much set. Do the upgrade real quick. Fertilizer would be helpful for building explosives, but I think we'll be. I think the wise thing to do would be sell off some of this junk food that I carry around, some of that extra beer, nonsense sort of stuff. And dog food I like to keep for the traps. Cram fills you up fast, so does pork and beans, potato chips. Potato chips not so much, but if you have parasites or something, add that to a little pork and bean or cram, it'll get you. And we'll dump some of these extra beer. Save one back. We'll save the best one back. Personally, I'm going to go with and have a word with McCready. On.
Hey.
Quick save, I believe, for life. I'll just console. With 192 mods, I always like to be safe. Never know when you run into a crash.
Huh?
Hey, Charlie.
My client appreciates the work you did with his rat problem. Now, if you're buying, let's hear what you want.
Let's see what you got.
Don't bother tipping. I'm already
Looking for
overcharging
rum.
you.
Wine too. Vodka and the whiskey too. All that's crucial in making the food.
Looks like we got another freak just won't fit anywhere else.
Running from something? Welcome home.
I've never really spent much time in this hole down here, so...
Ever been to Kill or Be Killed? Fine looking weapons. Need a place to stay? Try Hotel Rexford.
I have slept with her one time. Different character another time.
You're blocking my light, man.
Just in case stuff gets hot in here and I have no idea if it is or not. Nothing stops.
Doing a dump like this,
Bunks.
Wondering how long it would take your bloodhounds to track you
Close
down,
range
Whitlock.
with the man.
It's been almost 3 months. Don't tell me you're getting rusty. Should we take this outside?
It ain't like that. I'm just here to deliver a message.
In case you forgot, I left the Gunners for good.
Yeah, I heard. But you're still taking jobs in the Commonwealth. That isn't going to work for us.
I don't take orders from you. Not anymore. So why don't you take your girlfriend and walk out of here while you still can?
What? Winlock? Tell me we don't have to
I like the
listen
new
to this shit.
retextures on McCready. I hadn't seen him like
The
this
only reason
before.
we haven't filled your body full of bullets is that we don't want a war with Good Neighbor. See, we respect other people's boundaries. We know how to play the game. It's something you never learned.
Glad to have disappointed you.
You can play the tough guy all you want. But if we hear you're still operating inside Gunner territory, all bets are off. You got that?
You finished?
Yeah. We're finished. Come on, Barnes.
I think a suppressed service rifle in 308.
Excuse me.
Look, pal. If you're preaching about the atom or looking for a friend, you've got the wrong guy. If you need a hired gun, then maybe we can talk.
From what I just heard, sounds like you're out of business.
Are you kidding me? I'm not about to let a couple of gunner rejects stand between me and a solid payday.
Extra baggage like that can get you killed.
Look, I need the money, and I'm not about to let Winlock and Barnes scare a client away. You have nothing to worry about. Those two are weaker than a housefly. They're about half as smart. Now what about you? How do I know I won't end up with a bullet in my back?
You don't. That's part of the risk, right?
Can't argue with that. I'll tell you what. Price is 250 caps. Up front. There's no room for bargaining. What do you say?
Everything's negotiable. Would you take 200?
You drive a hard bargain. But you just bought yourself an extra gun. All right, boss. Let's get out of here.
Right,
Look alive.
See what he's got. End him off this for a minute. See if I can hook him up with a suppressed service rifle. Right now I'll give him the marksman. Some ammo. That's about 160, 308 rounds. And 60. I'll have to get him a suppressor for something at some point. He's gonna need some armor. This. Oh, I'm just gonna have to get him some armor of his own. Give him a Vanguard headgear. See if I can find some armor somewhere. I generally don't like to give them grenades. I'll give him one Molotov. Clearly, I'm going to need more 308. But it's a good start for him.
What?
Look alive.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, it's critical that you don't overload your companions. I'm actually going to give him this cryo mines. Mines. Business here. Haven't worked with McCready.
Buddy, I need to be a lot more high or a lot more drunk to be bothered right now.
Rush up here and see if I can grab some more ammo before that Berry Mentat wears off.
Huh? Don't have
Hey,
no
Cleo.
handouts.
Uh-huh. Right.
You're making that look easy.
Sure. Let's take a look.
Now what I'm after is probably another service rifle. Definitely all that I can handle. This is 7.62. Something more along the lines of this is a nice piece for him. This is about what I need to strip everything off. Special weapon, the limitless potential. Not going to try and spend too much time doing this. I just need to have enough to get him safely north. I imagine I'll end up stripping stuff off corpse just to get him outfitted. Just gonna have to deal.
Time to split up the loot?
If I remember correctly, we've got this. This one back. All we can do for now, really. Head over to Rexford. Yeah, and I know resupply missions are boring, so I'll stop the live stream on the way out. But I figured it was important just to give a little commentary to let you guys know how I do resupply and agony. Better locational damage.
Hey, Rufus.
Hey.
So, what I'm going to do here is just grab any drugs if he's got them. I was actually looking for something that was going to cure my insomnia. I need a special type of pet pill that's in agony, but I can't find it right now. So I'm kind of up shit creek on this. I'm going to buy all the 5.56 I can get my hands on. Special here. Can't build on my own. Nothing good enough. I'm going to get that wine and vodka. Expired painkillers, because a little chalk will make that into sealed. All the meat that I can get my hands on. Produce. Going to grab... particular, unless I can find a little bit of fiberglass, but I'm not carrying a moon monkey for that, so I'll just give him 200. Overthink it. Now I know I'm exhausted.
Thanks again for pulling that job.
I found a recipe for you.
I'll take a room here.
Compounds are a little beyond me, but I'll figure it out. Anyway, you need some chems?
Or did you want a cold beverage?
Giving him a lot of
I'll take a beer.
Cold and refreshing
recipes, so I'm hoping he's got something. 2 of these. Grab a room because I know I'm exhausted.
It's my favorite person.
Been on
got
the
some premium shit here
for a very, very long time.
Let's see what you have.
Everything's been tested personally.
While charisma's up, I'll see what else. Definitely these expired painkillers. It's a true staple. I could probably get rid of some of the extra drugs I don't need. Like, very rarely are you ever going to find me to use the Radaway, because it's just too damaging. I'll never... Just go ahead and trade the full 5 out. Do the same thing with Rufus over here.
Hey, Rufus. Good to see you again.
While my berry mentats are in play. Or grape, rather.
I'll take a look. Let me know if you want to trade.
Just dump the things that I cannot use, or Radaway is just not very helpful in the field. I don't need up to 69 stim packs. I only have to use them in dire situations or to heal. My comrades. These weigh a little bit too much to carry a whole lot of them, so I'll dump them down to 2. could probably stand to get a few rid of a little med axe. We'll do 3 of those. Set.
Excuse me.
You again. Staying with us today, I trust.
I've been on the road for way too long.
Top floor, long hallway, last room on the right.
Hours of sleep here. I still needed a little bit more medical gear to really fully cure myself, and I know Good Neighbor doesn't have a doctor, so that's what it is. Myself with the cram that I was talking about earlier. Pork and beans. Peckish. Why do I have parasites and insomnia? Alright, so require a little bit more. And so if I take the sleep aid before I go to bed, pop in here and hopefully be cured of my insomnia. Hours. All right, so I just need to get rid of my parasites. Set my hitman. Set the revolver back up. If you guys want, I'll show you how to tag and key stuff. I think I put a very extensive tagging and keying guide on my Steam It page to save you a little bit of trouble. It's kind of tough to gather all those resources together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this live stream here because I know Resupply and Loadout episodes can be a little bit boring. And I'll start a new live stream. 25, it should be a little bit more action-packed.